Hi.
Man, you got a tag?
No, and I'm gonna let you know right now that you're being recorded for my purposes and for your purposes if we need to go to court.
Okay, but you got no tag, so are you aware of that?
Is that your emergency?
It's not an emergency. You have to have a tag on your vehicle if you're gonna drive.
I'm sorry, what's your name and badge number?
Officer St. Vrain ID 2509. This could go
Awesome,
really
thank you.
easy, man, or this could go really difficult, okay?
I don't,
You've
and
got-
I want to let you know that I am not driving, I am traveling, I am not using this
Okay.
as a
We're
vehicle.
not gonna go down this route.
This is a private
Okay,
automobile.
do you have ID on you?
What crime have I committed?
It's an infraction. You don't have a tag on. I'm not going to do this with you, man.
I'm sorry.
I've got other stuff that I could be doing.
An infraction is not a crime.
I don't care. I don't care what you're going to say. I need your identification. I need proof of insurance. You do not have a tag on your vehicle, so you need to provide that to me.
That would be if I was driving in a commercial capacity. Can you please get your sergeant?
And Judge, the last case on my calendar for today that I have is Anthony Dubus.
We are on the record in 2023 TR 2777, State of Kansas versus Anthony Dubus. Devin Canfield for the state, the defendant in person, and with counsel Darren Patterson.
Your Honor, if I may.
Well, I'm not finding his file. It must not have caught up with the quick turnaround. So go ahead.
Your Honor, I did talk with Mr. Dubus. I would tell the court that the sum of the conversation, or I guess the end of it, is that he is asking to represent himself. I would, in review of case law, Judge State v. Collins 257 Can 408, would suggest that he does have the right to represent himself and not have counsel appointed if it's at any stage besides trial. And we're certainly not at trial yet, so that because of that, he does have that right. I think he wants to invoke that right and represent himself, Your Honor.
Mr. Patterson, he did make that clear to me at the last hearing, but he didn't seem to have all of the law in his proper grasp as the court saw it. And so I wanted counsel to be available to him in the event that he wanted to avail himself to it.
Judge, I can report we did have a very long conversation concerning the law, and I can tell the court there was just a difference of opinion about it. But
Okay.
that's as much as I can tell the court.
I object. For the record, I am not representing myself, and I did not accept your forced appointment of Mr. Patterson onto myself. I am not representing myself. I am in propria persona as age of majority, handling my legal affairs as I need to, which is, again, as Mr. Patterson said, retain and attain my rights, and I shall not be abrogated from them. And I recuse Mr. Patterson from being a public defender for me. And I also want to show for the record that you called my proper case trade name, my given name, Anthony Dubus, instead of the all caps Anthony Edward Dubus named accused defendant. And if I can also have, I believe it was Rikir, who is the prosecutor or attorney for the state, to appear and show himself on the record.
Let's see.
again, I ask for Mr. Regier to show himself and
So right
appear
here,
on the
if you'll
record.
give me just a moment, please. All right, Mr. Dubus, you're charged, as you may recall, with operating a motor vehicle without a valid license in Butler County, Kansas on August 17 of 2023. You were also charged in count 2 with operating a motor vehicle without registration or with expired tags on that same date, as well as in count 3, operating a motor vehicle without proof of liability insurance on August 17th of 2023.
I object before we move
And
forward.
under
Can I-
Kansas law, if you're going to operate a motor vehicle on Kansas roadways or federal highways or county highways, you are agreeing to follow the law that you will have a driver's license, have a licensed tagged car, and that you will have insurance on that car. Now, if you do not want to have counsel, I'll have Mr. Patterson, I'll ask that he be standby. At this time, you want to represent yourself. You say you don't want to represent yourself, but you can't have it all ways. You have to either have counsel or represent yourself. So you don't want Mr. Patterson, is that, or other counsel, is that correct?
Hold on, I object. This needs to be addressed first. Can Mr. Regier please show himself on the record in person for this matter?
Mr. Patterson, humor the defendant, or Mr. Regier, why don't you, for the humor of the defendant, show your picture, turn your screen on. I assume you're the one that charged the document. There you go. That's Jared Regier, the prosecutor that filed the case. He's not the witness in the case. The witness will testify at trial. So again, you don't want an attorney to represent you. Is that right, Mr. Dubus?
I do not want
Okay,
an
thank
attorney,
you. Thank you for answering
and
this
I need
question.
Mr. Regier to actually come on the record.
Okay, now you're not in control of this hearing, sir. I'm appointed to do that, so you do not want an attorney. Do you understand that you could hire any attorney of your choice? And if you cannot afford an attorney, you can apply for court-appointed attorney. Do you understand that, sir?
I comprehend that.
All right, that's all
Before
I
we
need to
move
know.
forward, I need
All right,
to
you comprehend it, and you don't
need-
want the attorney.
I need to know for the record the nature of the charges, who is the person or individual bringing the verified complaint as a sworn affidavit against myself or the accused legal entity.
As you made that clear, Mr. Jared Regier, you are the one that filed that affidavit, correct?
Your Honor, I'm looking at the information in this case. It does appear to include my name in the opening paragraph of the information.
All right, and I've already told you the nature of the charges. I've explained those to you both at the last hearing and this one. No driver's license is a B misdemeanor. If convicted, you could get 6 months in jail and a $1,000 fine. No tag is an unclassified misdemeanor. If convicted, you could get a $2,500 fine, or you could get a sentence 30 days to 6 months. And the no insurance as a B misdemeanor, it has a minimum fine of $300 up to $1,000, and it has a possible sentence up to 6 months. The next thing I need to know is, do you want a trial in this case?
Object. I need the affidavit to be produced so that way I may see as evidence the sworn affidavit from the individual filing the complaint.
All right, sir, it is your responsibility to either have your attorney file that motion for discovery to get that, or you must do it yourself if you refuse to have an attorney. So that is your responsibility to file a motion for discovery, and the state will provide that to you. Do you want a trial, sir?
I verbally motion right now for the affidavit to be produced on the record of the sworn affidavit to be produced on the record for the verified complaint
Well, there are rules of procedure, and if you want to review the statutes, if you're going to represent yourself, I would suggest you do so because those rules of procedure will tell you how to get that. Now, do you want a trial? That is, do you want to plead not guilty to these charges and proceed with a trial at a future date?
I need to know on the record what jurisdiction this trial is going to be in. Article 3, equity. Article 2, maritime, military tribunal, or Article 1, Admiralty maritime law.
And
This
Your
will
Honor,
be under the jurisdiction of the state of Kansas, the District Court, 13th Judicial District. Someone had a comment?
Your Honor, I was just going to say that as Mr. Dubus has requested to go pro se, he is held to the same standards as a fully licensed attorney. All of this information is available to him through a written request. At this time, I would just ask that we proceed in an orderly fashion and just set it for pretrial.
Hold
Well,
on.
I am certainly Mr. Canfield. I believe I'm proceeding in an orderly fashion.
Can
Now,
I not verbally
I'm going to
motion?
give you one last chance. Read the rules of evidence and follow them, Mr. Dubus. Now, I'm going to give you one more time. Do you want a trial? And if so, do you want a trial to the court or a trial to a jury?
I want to object to the pro se comment. I am not pro se. I am in propria persona. And
All
I'm
right.
making that very clear on the record. And if this does go to trial, I retain and claim the Article 3 equity court. And I demand a trial by jury, grand jury of 12 jurors.
Well, you're going to get a trial under Kansas law of 6 jurors for a misdemeanor, not 12. And you're to put
I'm
that
sorry.
request in
I
writing
object
too.
all
Okay, you're going to put that in writing
criminal
too.
courts are federal, and this court is federal incorporated
No, it's
under
not. No,
under
it's
the
not,
United
sir. You're
States
totally out of
Corporation.
order. Sir, you're saying things you don't know what you apparently don't know what they mean. They don't belong in this court. I'm going to set this. Counsel, any objection to setting this for jury trial? He has not properly made demand for jury trial.
Not by the state, Your Honor.
All right, we'll set this for jury trial. You must appear February 5th at 9 a.m. for your pre-trial hearing. And you must appear February 7 and 8 at 9 a.m. for your jury trial. Your jury trial will be, again, February 7th and 8th at 9 a.m. Now, Mr. Patterson, I'd like you to be available unless you want to, again, take the position that I can't do that, but I would think for jury trial, I could have you on standby. Would you agree or disagree?
Your Honor, I believe the court can order that I be on standby.
All right, thank you, sir. But Mr. Dubus, if you're going to represent yourself, you've got a lot of law to learn because you're way out there in left field, as the cliche goes, and you're looking at some state matters. You're in district court of the state of Kansas, the 13th Judicial District. And if you're going to represent yourself, there are rules of procedure for this court that you need to familiarize yourself with rather than those that you're trying to draw upon from who knows what source. So I'll note any objections you have. You can preserve them for your right to appeal, but those are the trial dates and pre-trial dates that you have before you.
Again, I object because I need to know the nature of this, whether it is common equity or it is admiralty for the jurisdiction.
I've told you the jurisdiction, sir.
No,
and
you
that's
have
all
not.
we're
I
going to
object
say on
and
that.
show on the record that the
Objection
judge
noted.
has not showed the jurisdiction and the nature of it.
For the final time, this is in the 13th Judicial District, the District Court of Kansas, and this is a traffic proceeding involving 2 misdemeanor crimes and an unclassified misdemeanor.
I object as the Sixth
Objection
Amendment.
noted,
I need
sir.
to know the nature of it and you are not expressing and elaborating the true nature of it, whether it is in common equity or admiralty. Okay?
Sir, that will be anything. Is there anything else we need to address, Mr. Canfield, from the state?
No, Your Honor.
All right. Thank you, Mr. Canfield. Thank you, Mr. Patterson and Mr. Dubus. That will be all until February 5th, unless counsel or defense files any motions that need to be set for hearing prior to that date. So,
Thank you.
Mr. Dubus, you may go at this time.
I have ID, but it's
Okay.
not for commercial purposes.
I don't care what commercial, non-commercial purposes you have.
Well, I'm not following commercial law. I'm following common law, sir. He's a sovereign citizen. No, I'm not. That's an oxymoron.
Okay.
Black's Law.
Just give me your ID.
Black's Law Dictionary.
Okay, give me your ID.
Black's
give me-
Law
okay.
Dictionary. This is under duress, by the way.
What's under duress?
Being forced to, without my full consent.
Okay.
A
Do you have a state ID from the state of Kansas?
No, I mean, I guess that is the state, or that is from Kansas State, not the state of Kansas, though.
What do you mean from the state of Kansas?
From Kansas State instead of state of Kansas, meaning this is from the land and soil jurisdiction of common law and not the corporate jurisdiction that is the state of Kansas.
Do you have insurance on your car? I assume not.
No,
Why not?
I'm not using it for commercial
What
purposes.
happens if you run into somebody? How are you going to pay for that?
It's none of your business.
Just curious. That's why
I
you
don't
have to
answer
have
questions.
insurance. If you're traveling, commerce, non-commerce, any of that kind of stuff, and you run into somebody else, let's say somebody else is traveling, what are you going to do? What are you going to do?
I don't answer questions.
Okay. I didn't figure so.
Yeah.
Okay.
So how often does this work for you?
Well, I've been traveling for a little over half a month now. Haven't been pulled over. I'm just waiting until I get.
Check on the car, you've never been pulled over? Really?
No. I'm waiting to get private traveler's plates that are non-UCC or for non-use or for non-commercial purposes. This isn't a vehicle. This is a private automobile.
Oh, okay.
A vehicle is a commercial term.
Okay.
I am non-commercial.
Okay. Grubhub, that's not commercial?
That was from prior.
Oh.
Okay. I have here a intent of fee schedule.
A what?
An intent of fee schedule
I don't know
for
what that means.
basically, if you guys wish to contract with me, you have to abide by my provisions of contract as well, which I was.
I don't know what you mean by contract.
I bring up the course
So-
with you.
Yeah, I'd take it to court.
What the judge is.
Are you accepting and refusing to see
I'm not
these?
accepting anything.
So you're refusing to see these?
Yeah, I'm refusing to see those.
And Judge, I am on standby on Mr. Dubus. Although I'm not attorney of record, I will be standing by though.
All right, and that's what I'm going to call now because it looks like it's between Mr. Dubus and Mr. Cochran. Well, I can't call, yeah. Mr. Dubus, you want to start your video? Okay, we are back on the record in 2023 TR 2777, State of Kansas versus Anthony Edward Dubus, with Jared Regier for the state, Mr. Dubus in person with standby counsel Darren Patterson. Standby because my prior contacts with Mr. Dubus led me to believe that he, even though he wants to represent himself, there's much about the legal system that he doesn't know or understand and would need the benefit or would certainly benefit, period, from Mr. Patterson's representation. So, Mr. Dubus, at this time, you want to talk to Mr. Patterson and take advantage of his knowledge and experience in the legal system concerning this no driver's license charge, registration, and insurance violations?
Let me ask first, are we on the record? Is there a court reporter present?
Is there a court reporter present? This hearing is live. It is being recorded. Is someone sitting here with their little fingers clicking across the keyboard? No.
So you're saying that this is not currently a court of record?
This is a court of record because this is being recorded, subject to transcription at any time.
Okay. I would ask for a copy of that transcription.
Well, when you file a written motion and pay the transcription fee, sir, that will be arranged.
Okay. And Phyllis K. Webster, will you please recite your oath of office into the court of record then today?
No, sir, I will not.
Why are you refusing to do so?
Let's move along.
I would please like to have that question answered. On another note, I am appearing specially, not generally, under threat of duress and further coercion by the state of Kansas Corporation.
All right, sir. I did take my oath when I was appointed and when I was elected subsequently. Now, what is it I can help you with today? Do you want a trial, a jury trial, or do you want to enter a plea today?
It seemed like last time we had court, you entered the plea for me.
I did, because you would not.
Okay.
But yet what you were saying suggested you wanted a trial, so I entered the not guilty plea and set it for trial. Somewhere along the line, you led me to believe you wanted a jury trial as opposed to a bench trial. Had I been making the decision, I probably would have said bench trial. But somewhere along the line, you've made comments to make me think you wanted a jury trial. Now, I have not seen, let me double check. I don't think, Mr. Dubus, that you have filed any kind of demand or request or notice for jury trial. Have you?
I thought that was entered into the last court session.
Well, I don't think you filed any motion. You told me apparently you told me you wanted a jury trial, but you never followed through.
I thought that was a decision that we made as the court.
Well, you and I did not make a decision of any kind. Mr. Patterson, do you believe it's acceptable for him to just say he wants a jury trial?
Your Honor, pursuant to case law, because there are at least up to 1 year in the county jail possible, if it's ever consecutive, then case law would state that he has a right to a jury trial.
Agreed, but does he not need to put something in writing to that effect that he wants one? That was my question.
Because there's an absolute right to jury trial, he would not have to put it in writing. It would have to be specifically waived by him, Your Honor, and I don't think he's done a waiver.
Very well. Do you agree with that, Mr. Regier?
Your Honor, what I can say at this time is pursuant to KSA 6238 subsection B, quote, on any issue trial by right by a jury, a party may demand a jury trial by serving the other parties with a written demand, which may be included in a pleading no later than 14 days after the last pleading directed to the issue is served, and found the demand in accordance with KSA 6205 and amendments thereto.
Mr. Patterson, in spite of that statutory language, do you think he needs to waive his right to jury trial? Did I hear that right?
Absolutely, Judge. Pursuant to case law, and I don't dispute the statute whatsoever, but there is certain case law that makes it a constitutional right to a jury trial if the sentence would be up to a year in the county jail, and in this case, consecutively, it could be up to a year, the longest possible maximum. So it would have to be waived by him, and he would not have to make anything in writing to receive that.
But you don't believe that case law overrules the statutory law, or do you?
This is a constitutional right we're talking about, Your Honor. It would trump the statute.
Okay.
And Your Honor, I would note that pursuant to the information filed with the court in August, this case does appear to include 3 counts, 2 Class Bs, and an unclassified non-person misdemeanor. While it would appear that in this particular instance, subsection 2, pursuant to KSA 216602, quote, for purposes of sentencing, the following classes of misdemeanors and the punishment and the terms of confinement associated for each class are established. Class B, the sentence for which shall be a definite term of confinement in the county jail, which shall be fixed by the court and shall not exceed 6 months. So, given that, my understanding is that neither a plea nor sentencing recommendations have been submitted to the court in this matter, it would appear that at least the issue raised by standby counsel is somewhat academic.
So, Mr. Patterson, when you say up to a year in the county jail, are you thinking if they were to be run concurrently, or I mean consecutively versus concurrently?
That would be the longest possible sentence when you start running them consecutively, and that's what the case law would state.
Do you have your statutory site or your case law sites by chance? I know you didn't expect to pull them out.
It's not what I keep handy, but giving a short recess, I can find that.
Well, now, before you go to that, now, Mr. Dubus, do you have any idea what's going on here?
I, as a common man, do not comprehend the legalese that you guys are using together. I can look up statutes and case law myself, and considering that this is dealing with a common right to all people granted to us in restriction of government entities for the people itself, I comprehend that I have my right to jury trial, which I think Mr. Patterson, in his brief support towards this and towards me, towards my right to a jury trial, although I do not fully comprehend the legalese that is going on within the association between Jared Regier and yourself, Phyllis K. Webster.
All right, well, Mr. Dubus, the point is you do have the right to represent yourself, and you've told me you want to represent yourself, and I've asked Mr. Patterson to stand by, and you've already used him here for this purpose. So here's the thing, Mr. Dubus. No, let me talk now, Mr. Dubus. Here's the thing. If you're going to represent yourself, you need to be able to make your own arguments. You need to be able to cite your own law. And if you cannot do that, you have the right to legal assistance, which is why Mr. Patterson is here. And you've already this quickly run into a legal snag that he's made the argument for you. Does it not make sense to you? And do you not want to have his legal assistance to let him represent you?
I do not wish to be represented by an attorney whose duty first is to the courts and not to their clients. And if we're speaking on rights in regards to laws and statutes, the arrest made on me by Deputy K. Barriquet was an unlawful arrest.
All right,
for
well, we're not going on
22-2401.
We're not going down that path right now, sir. We're not going down that path right now. Well, the issue is, so you do want a jury trial. Are you ready to proceed on Wednesday, Mr. Dubus?
May I ask that there be an extension so that way I may fully research the procedures of the administrative criminal law which you're trying to try me under?
Well, I'm not the administrative law judge. That is yet another procedure.
Although you are in an administrative court under the state of Kansas Corporation, correct?
I'm here in a criminal traffic trial, and I am not an administrative law judge. So here's what we're going to do. How much time do you want this continued for?
30 days or so seems to be a standard
Well, my next available jury trial date would be October 2nd and 3rd. So
of 2024.
2024. So that's when I will continue this at your request to. I'll grant your continuance, but that's my next available date. And your pretrial will be September 30th, 2024. Do you have any objections to that?
No objections.
You'll be continued on, let's see, did you make this? Is he on bond? Surely he is. Let me double check as I talk to myself here. Partly talk to the prosecutor. I'm not totally talking to myself, but let's see what we have going on here.
I would like to point out that the bond and bail I made on this arrest is an unlawful bond, considering that the arrest was unlawful itself.
Looks like Judge Crum set your bond on August 18th, 2023 at $2,500 cash or surety, and that will be maintained so long as, sir, you appear at every date and time you're required. Anything else, Mr. Regier, we need to take up on this matter?
Your Honor, if the court is granting the defendant's request for continuance, I respectfully have it noted for the record that this case at the next hearing will be over a year in age, as I understand it. So the state is not in favor of this continuance. So I would respectfully have that noted. Additionally, my understanding is that a motion in limine was filed by my office. And if the court is saying this matter for both pretrial and jury trial, I would respectfully reserve my rights pursuant to the state and have the motion in limine be addressed at the pretrial hearing.
That the objection of the state to the continuance is noted. Yeah, we can take the motion in limine up.
Your Honor, if I may be heard briefly.
Yes, Mr. Patterson, please.
The motion that counsel is talking about was emailed to me. I'm not the attorney of record, so I have not accepted service. I sent an email back to counsel, and I did provide Mr. Dubus's address that I had seen in the court system that they can directly mail that to, and I've just asked that that be mailed to Mr. Dubus for service. And
Your Honor, I am showing in my file an affidavit of service by first class mail, and which would appear to include a mailing date of at the end of last week.
All right. Very well then. And if there's nothing further, did you get that, Mr. Dubus? Did you get the copy of the motion he's in reference to?
To what mailing address did you send it to, Mr. Revere?
Well, just tell me if you got it or not, sir. Did you?
No, I did not.
Okay. All right.
And Your Honor, one last thing, I did email to court and counsel the copy of the case law about constitutional right to a jury trial.
Thank you, Mr. Patterson. I appreciate that. And Mr. Regier, he wants to know what you sent that to.
I'm afraid I do not understand the court's inquiry.
He wanted to know what the defendant asked, what address you mailed the motion to.
Your Honor, the affidavit of service I have in the file appears to be at an Andover, Kansas address.
Okay. Are you still in Andover, sir?
I'm in Wichita.
All right. Well, you have to keep the court informed of your address, or you're going to maybe miss more important documents. So can you send your current address to Mr. Patterson and Mr. Regier in the chat here without having to say it live over the internet? And Mr. Patterson, do you have any legal authority that suggests that I reaffirm my oath for him? Do you have anything that says I should do that?
Judge, I'm afraid I've never researched that issue, never heard that issue.
All right. Well, same here. I do have my oath in front of me. Keep it handy, but I don't see the need to repeat that. It was good enough for the Supreme Court of Kansas. Okay, so that takes care of Mr. Dubus's case. You are excused, sir.
Okay, so I'm citing you for no DL, not having your vehicle registered, and knowingly driving with no insurance, okay?
Okay.
Do you understand that?
I comprehend it. I don't stand under it. Yeah.
All right. Do you want to sign this saying that I just gave this to you, not admitting guilt?
Yeah.
Okay.
I will sign that.
Is this the vehicle you were in the hit and run with when you got hit?
Correct.
Who'd you call when that happened?
I don't answer questions other than what I want to.
Alrighty. I just saw a police report made, so I was hoping you got that taken care of and they found the run vehicle.
Not that I know of.
That you know of? Okay. You got 10 days to take care of this. Do you understand that? Oh, perfect. Perfect.
There.
There's giving me your fingerprint too, man. Look at that.
That's actually my autograph.
That's your autograph?
Correct, as the living soul.
Living soul.
Yep, not a agent of the state under color of law as you guys are acting.
Yeah.
Which, do you have a liability insurance number or a bond policy number?
I do not. Hey,
Oh, so you're saying that?
Hey, right back here where I put in parentheses, that's where you need to call or take care of this, okay?
Awesome,
My boss
thank
has
you.
explained it to you, so you got 10 days, okay?
Awesome, appreciate that.
All right, Anthony. So I'm going to tell you, don't drive. You don't have a license. No,
I'm not driving.
It's not. Okay, I don't want you traveling on any of these streets out here that we consider public roadways, okay?
You cannot control my right to travel.
All righty.
Thank you. You guys have a wonderful day. Thank you, you too.